All right, so welcome back to the channel, guys. It's me, 80 Today, guys, I have an Italian friend who should be joining soon. I'm not sure why he hasn't joined yet. He'll be joining soon in a couple of minutes, and we'll be discussing about what is going wrong with the Italy national team. Because trust me, man, Italy, man, we got to have a conversation about them. Because after not qualifying for this last World Cup, we got to have a serious conversation about Italian football. Because Italian football, man, it's been looking really, really bad. Not only in club football, not only in international, but even club as well. But obviously, I want to have more focus on international than club. But we definitely need to have a conversation about club as well, So yeah, let me see. Hopefully, he can join, and yeah, it'll be awesome. So, of course, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Like this video if you did enjoy, and we're going to continue our conversation. So, let's see. We're going to get some people. So, Kubo says, hello. Nice to see you here, Kubo. Yeah, my friend should join soon. Just give like 2 or 3 minutes. He should be here soon. Uh, that kind of thing. And as for the other of you guys, many of you are also probably wondering, can I come on as well? What I'm planning to do is this. I'm planning to have him come on for most of the stream, and then once he leaves or once he like we pretty much finish our discussion, I will invite the other people. It's just that this is particularly for Italy, and I feel like he knows Italy most of everyone. So I feel like I should give him priority. So everyone else will get their turns after we and him finish our discussion. So I'm guessing that will last around 20 to 30 minutes. So I'll be sending the link later in the stream. So don't worry, guys. I will eventually send the link. It's just that you're going to have to wait your turn. Okay. Second thing. Such a shame that they declined. Yeah, it is a shame, man. Italy, man. Yeah, and also I have a like target for you guys today. Today, let's get it 10 likes. Yeah, let's try to get it 10 likes. 10 likes is the target for today. So if we can get it 10 likes, I'll do that. And maybe I'll ask a poll for you guys. Are you surprised that Italy did not make this World Cup? Maybe I should do a poll like that actually. Um, Definitely. Every Italian striker is an imposter. This is also another talking point, man. You went from likes of Baggio to Ciro Immobile. Baggio, man. I know he missed the penalty in the 1994 World Cup final, but geez, my goodness me, this guy is a legend for Italy. You know, you went from him to Ciro Immobile, man. Wow, that's a crazy decline, man. Crazy decline. Should have brought back La Pulda. Hello. Immobile would walk into Barca 80. Um, I don't know, man. I'll put it this way. Aubameyang's been really good. He's been in good form, guys. Aubameyang has been in great form right now, so I'm not so sure. But I will say this though. I will say this. If he did come to Barca, he would probably be the second choice striker, assuming that Lewandowski doesn't come. Okay, SJK won 4-2 versus Florida Tallinn and kicked them out of the conference league. Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, we're at 843 subscribers, guys. Thank you guys for the support. Remember, guys, the goal is to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. And so the goal for this month is really 850. That's pretty much the goal. Well, actually, it was nine. It's 900. But yeah, anyways, let's see. He's joined. Hello, Doodle. Can you hear me? Okay. Hopefully your mic is working. Okay. So let's just wait a few minutes and then I guess you'll be ready to go, right? Okay. So Yeah, I guess we should get started soon. Okay. Slovenian Batusevi won last minute with a corner goal yesterday. Okay. Yeah, just let me know when you're ready. Um, we'll just get out. We'll just wait a few minutes, I guess. And then let me do a poll real quick for you guys while we're waiting. But yeah, let's see. Let me read through some more comments and then we'll get started with Doodle's first thoughts. They should have started Balotelli or Key. Cade, wait, can't wait until next week. All right, so Doodle, are you ready now? Yeah, I can't hear you, Doodle, right now. Hopefully, I think your mic might be on mute or something. Yeah, let me see.
How about now?
Oh, now I can hear. Now I can hear.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Finally. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get started now. So yeah. So Doodle, take it away, man. Take it away, because I'm sure you were really disappointed to see Italy not in the World Cup this edition.
Yeah, I mean, as an Italian myself, obviously, it was a pretty dark times, really, especially after we won Euros 1 year ago. This is Italy's second time not making the World Cup consecutively. Like I remember being so enraged when in 2018 when we did not qualify. But this, in some ways, was worse because this in 2018 we knew that our team was already going downhill, especially after a very disappointing 2014 World Cup, and we knew that everyone was getting older and the coach was just not utilizing anyone really, any young players. And yeah, I mean, especially when we had to bring on De Rossi against Sweden in the last minutes to try to score a goal, I mean, it was stupid. But the fact that here we lost against, and no disrespect to North Macedonia, but the fact that we lost to them, it's just, especially after, even before that, after we won Euros, we just never became consistent in our World Cup qualifying group, and we dropped points really stupidly against likes of Bulgaria, Switzerland, and Northern Ireland. And then obviously Nations League, Spain beat us, and that was kind of the warning signs for us. But we thought, okay, it's just Nations League; it does not matter. Just focus on qualifying. Should easily top our group. And I don't know what happened, but it seems like the players just kind of, I think they lost motivation. And some of the players, in my opinion, just are not good enough for the national team. Like for example, Ciro Immobile is the top scorer in Serie A. He's great for Lazio. He's a good striker, but for Italy, he just never works. And I don't know if it's the system, I don't know what it is, but it just never works. And it's not just him, like other strikers that we have, Bellotti, Scamacca, and many more, they're just not working for Italy. And that is the problem. That Italy has no good striker, and then there are a lot of players that are out of form, such as Donnarumma. Ever since his mistake against Real Madrid, he has also not been the same for PSG. And then for Italy, against last game against Germany, he was just so bad that it was unbelievable. Like defense overall was a pretty bad, but him himself was just, I don't know what happened really.
Yeah. It's really interesting because you could honestly argue that obviously 2018 was a big disaster, but you could even argue this one was even worse considering that the opposition, because
100%.
Sweden still made the quarterfinals. It's not like they didn't make. It's not like they didn't qualify. They did qualify, and you did. I think I was looking back at history. You guys did lose the group to Spain, and Spain is a good team. But this time around, you guys got top the group or Switzerland, And I know Switzerland's a good nation, but they're not that good. They aren't that special.
I mean, yeah, I mean, first of all, in the Euros, like especially after we beat them like we beat them 3-0 in the group in Euros.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like after that, Aaron obviously saw us as one of the contenders for Euros because we were just so good in the group. So we did not concede a single goal, scored 7 goals in 3 games, which is pretty good. And we just looked like really solid. And like a lot of other European nations, like such as, for example, Spain, Germany, and France, just did not look as convincing in the groups. Well, Italy looked very convincing. So everyone thought that, okay, we actually have a chance of going all the way potentially. I thought we would not. I personally thought that we would probably face someone like France in quarterfinals and just lose. But yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was looking back in that Italy's World Cup record in the 21st century is really bad. But as far as the Euros records, it's actually really solid. It's actually
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
good.
even in 2016, we only lost on penalties against Germany. Like it wasn't even that bad. But
Yeah.
again, the same team. It's just since we won the World Cup, that was last time we even made knockouts in World Cup history, because we went out in groups against in 2010, then we went out in 2014, and now we did not qualify for the last 2 World Cups. Like I don't know what has happened. I don't know if the better teams got better. I mean, I know teams got better, but we just got so worse. It's just,
Yeah.
but now that we won Euros, it just makes it more disgraceful. A team, supposedly best team in Europe in 2021, not qualifying for Euros. It's not only a disgrace to Italy, but whole of Europe as well. Because now everyone's probably going to think that how could those teams just not beat this team, and this team did not even qualify. And obviously, not even touching on our 3-0 defeat against Argentina, which honestly it did not bother me as much because at that point I was just completely hopeless about anything. And this Nations League, while we have started well, and we were actually obviously we beat Hungary, which actually are doing pretty well right now. So I think and we tied against Germany and against England. But then once we lost 5-2 against Germany, it all came back to reality. Like we were rotating at that time, so I thought maybe there was some hope, but it seems like again, and the worst of all, there's still so many same players that let us down against Macedonia that are still being called up. That is my biggest issue.
Yeah, that's just sad, and definitely. So let's rewind the clock a bit. Let's start from 2002 because obviously I know it's a long time, but we got to start from there because this is where the decline really began. And even though you guys did qualify for the World Cup that time, you guys did not do well. So what do you think is the reason why these last World Cups they've been a failure? Like, do you think it's like the players' issues? Do you think it's a coaching issue? Do you think it's a league issue? Because we do need to talk about Syria on a bit. Because
To
I
be
also think,
fair, it's kind of all three of them at the same time. I think the league issue is definitely the first one because at around that time, that is when Serie A began going downhill, really. Like, obviously, then when we won the World Cup in 2006, that's when the scandal, the Calciopoli scandal happened. And
yeah,
I don't know why, but there's a joke that Italy, especially when the country itself is having some kind of problem, that's when Italy just begins performing well somehow. I don't know why that happened because in 2006, after that scandal, nobody really expected us to win the whole thing, but we just somehow did. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, the fact that league just got so much worse, and obviously then when Juve began dominating the league, and these other teams just got much worse. Juve alone cannot win you the world, cannot even make it compete.
exactly.
And it's not like their players were doing very good for Italy either. So like it was just that. Obviously, coaching was a problem. Mancini's obviously not the worst coach that we had. He literally won us the Euros, but I think that he's also kind of losing that touch that he had at first. Maybe
Yeah,
because he thinks that a lot of these players that were part of the Europe campaign can still turn it around. And I do respect him having faith for them, but it's clear that now after so many games that they're just not as good anymore, and maybe some change is needed. And players themselves have to take responsibility as well. Really.
yeah. I think it's another interesting point that you bring up Syria because, you know, looking at because you look at the Syria now, a lot of the best players in the league they're very most of them aren't even like young. Most of them are like very old if you think about it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, for example, right now, although the best midfielder in Serie A that won was Brozovic, and he's 29, and Brozovic is great, but again, he's also not Italian, so it's not like he's gonna do anything that.
Yeah.
Like, SMS from Lazio, he's Serbian. He's not Italian, so it's not like he's gonna help Italy in any way. The only one, and if we like the top Serie A players right now that are really like, there's very few actually that are Italian. I mean, I guess you can name Tonali from Milan, Barella from Inter, Chiesa before his injury from Juve. But like most of these, most top players are still foreigners, as I mentioned.
Yeah, that's the issue because actually, you just brought up a player that we got to mention. Chiesa was injured for those World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Inter fan. Obviously, I hate Juve, but Chiesa's one that, like, he was so crucial to Italy's attack and just as a system as well. I'm not gonna say that he carried us because, I mean, even without him, there were still players in form. Like Insigne before his lackluster 2021-22 season, he was still very crucial. Yes, we had no good striker during Euros, but even without that, like because Chiesa was very good and because some other attackers kind of contributed, we kind of just, we lived on. We just said, okay, we got no good striker, but because these wingers are having good form, we can somehow get through it.
Yeah. I do think though that this is in my opinion. I believe that Chiesa had played those World Cup qualifiers, you guys would have made the World Cup, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing is, against Macedonia, like if you can pull up the lineup that we had right now, the lineup we had against Macedonia, we should have won that game. And like really, like Verratti especially for me is like, even as an Inter fan, I gotta say Verratti is like our best midfielder right now. Like Barella's great, but Verratti, the amount of chances he created for us against Macedonia, like he was for me one player that cannot be blamed. Like look at that. That lineup that we had, that should be beating Macedonia.
Oh yeah, no matter what. Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people criticize Verratti especially for what happens with PSG. You know how PSG are in the Champions League.
I mean, it's also because his injury record is kind of bad, but like he's a great midfielder, and midfield is not really Italy's problem. But Georgina also is one that, I mean, his 2 penalty misses, you cannot overlook that.
Oh man, Georgina, man. Let me ask you a really honest question. What does Georgina really bring to Italy besides penalties?
I mean, I guess he kind of brings a bit of stability in the midfield at times. But the thing is, the problem is really that he just doesn't really, his lack of pace has exposed us a lot of times, especially with these quick midfielders now that are emerging. Like it just kind of gets harder for us because Verratti's not going to go and defend, or Barella's not going to go and defend. Good thing is we do have Tonali, obviously, who can do that. But Tonali in that single pivot, he's not as good as he is in double pivot. And you can ask many Milan fans that he's just not as good in single pivot. So it's not like he's going to be able to do everything alone. But like that's the problem. That's another problem. Like, what do we need to move on from 4-3-3, or do we need some other personnel? I don't know really, but I don't know really. The most of these players just somehow lost their form at possibly worst time for the nation, and that all of that together just made the nation underperform severely.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this team. Like, there's many of these players are pretty good. Like Donnarumma is a great keeper. We talk about Bastoni. We know how he is for Inter. Mancini is still decent. I don't think he's that amazing, but he's still decent. Emerson, is a former Chelsea player. And then Florenzi, I don't really rate Florenzi.
I mean, Florenzi, yeah, he's just not that good. But to be fair, he did put in a lot of shift for Milan this year, especially when Calabria was out of injury. So it's not like he's trash. I mean, right back is like Di Lorenzo's okay, I guess. Calabria is also kind of okay. But like, it's not really that much, but like this team should still be beating Macedonia at home. It does not matter, especially if you go by stats. Like they should be winning.
Yeah, and then you got Barella, Georgina, Verratti, Insigne. The only player you could probably say is bad. We all know he's bad is Immobile. But even though this guy is still a great keeper, great player for Lazio in the Serie A.
Yeah, but the thing is, Immobile. Yeah, well, we can obviously say that he underperforms for Italy. We cannot say that other strikers do better than him. I mean, Belotti's awful for Italy.
Oh, yeah,
Scamacca's not good for basically all of our strikers. Moise Kean should not even be in conversation anymore. Like, a lot of these strikers just do not work for Italy. So, yeah, well, Immobile does not. My idea was actually, let's try, I know this sounds funny, but let's try Pellegrini false 9 one game. Just give it a go because he's an attacking midfielder, obviously. So I thought he could actually try to do it. Like, he even came on.
Yeah. And like I said, you can't blame like the whole thing on like a striker thing, because I'm from the USA. We don't really have any great strikers, but we still
Yeah.
made the World Cup. So you can't like say the striker thing. And not a lot of I'm pretty sure most of the nations don't really have like that amazing number like nines.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, Spain, their golden generation, it's not like they had a consistent number 9 either, but they still they still won so many things. So you
Yeah,
cannot really just blame one thing. The
yeah,
whole team really has to take a blame in some ways.
yeah. And that's one of the criticisms I have with Serie A in particular is that there's not a lot of young developments there. A lot of young talented players there.
That's honestly on the federation more itself. Like they're just not focusing on it. And I don't know if it's about the money. I don't know what it is really, but the problem is that there's lack of development really. And with that, it's costing us in the long term. Like we should be from that, we should have taken Euro win, just try to build on it, try qualifying for World Cup, competing in it, then go again for Euros again next time. But instead, for some reason, we just let it stay like that. We thought that, okay, that's our finished product. We can just do anything with the team, but that's not how it works. I mean, football then evolves every year, and you're eventually going to get caught out if you're not going to progress with it. So, if you can show the Germany game, the last one, I mean, you can easily see that what Germany had. They really changed up their team and we just got ripped apart, really.
Yeah, it was just
Like you can even see the stats. Like I was watching that. I mean, no, not that. I think, although the score is actually funnily enough the same.
Oh wait! Oh, when I search Italy, Germany, this is the women's thing. Sorry.
Yeah, but funnily enough, the score is actually the same.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I was like, hold on, these aren't the same players.
Yeah, I mean, I also saw the stats. Like, there's no way we only had 3 shots. Like, if that's actually truth, then I don't even know what to say anymore. Really?
Okay, let me see.
No. What's funny is against Germany, like head to head wise, Italy actually has a really good record. So I thought that maybe we somehow could like get at least a point even away against them, but looks like that's not happening.
I'm just trying to see what the heck. Why isn't it working? Like, let me just go back to the North Macedonia thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's pretty much the same players, really.
Okay, let's just look. Okay, so let me just click the Italy thing, and then we'll go to Germany right here. Okay, yeah, here we go. Finally, lineups.
Yeah, lineups. So as you can see, I mean, we have changed up some players there. Obviously, you can see Spinazzola. Oh yeah, Spinazzola. Also, we gotta talk about him. That injury definitely weakened.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's now back from injury. You can't really blame that on him. Like, he's just back in the national team after a long time. It's fine. But you can see that we kind of made some changes. And Bonanto's actually one that people are just overhyping, in my opinion. Like, they're saying, oh, yeah, he's very good. He's just going to... I think he's overhyped, technically, in my opinion, but whatever. Raspadori is just not Raspadori should not be a sole striker. He does not play as a sole striker for Sassuolo. He's more like a second striker. He's not an actual number 9. I don't know why he's being played as a sole striker. And Politano is okay, I guess. He's just not starter worthy, but he's okay. But then you see Cristante, who I think he's a good player, but he also has kind of the same issues as Jorginho. I mean, I would still take Cristante over Georgina because at least he's probably not going to miss any penalties. And Fratezi's okay. I mean, Fratezi's pretty good, but again, he's just not really experienced enough to play these kind of games. And then you see the back line. And against Germany, Bastoni scored, but he was having a nightmare game. And I'm saying this as an Inter fan, that he was just having a very bad game. Mancini, he does not exactly perform as well for Italy. Calabria, again, he's kind of shaky. And Donnarumma, as we already discussed, he just hasn't been the same anymore. Really after that mistake, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting in that sense. So, yeah, let's go look through some comments real quick, and then we'll definitely talk about the European thing, because that's also kind of related to this as well.
Oh, you mean like Champions League, Serie A's performance in those?
Yeah. I think that's also
something. I mean, that has to be talked about, really.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. But let's look at the comments first. Okay, so let's read. Okay, so they should start Balotelli or Keane.
I mean, I don't know about that, to be honest. I mean, Moise Keane, I mean, even UEFA fans don't rate him, and Balotelli, I mean, it's 2022. Come on. Like, I don't know what to think about that.
Oh man, yeah, speaking of Balotelli, he was actually back in the training I saw earlier this
Yeah,
year.
but the thing is, he wasn't even playing. So, like, what's the point of him? He was basically there just to deliver water bottles to players or what?
Yeah, can't wait until next week. Or
Probably. Oh my god! I mean, that guy's like 40. I mean, he's not gonna get called up anytime soon.
Yeah, those pens in Italy versus Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Bastoni's penalty giver, that was just so stupid, really. I don't know why he did that. But again, it was just lack of concentration, maybe. It was
Yeah.
just really, really bad.
Okay, I was a little bit surprised, although I thought Switzerland had the best chance of qualifying as a non-pot one team. I was very surprised they lost to North Macedonia, but not if they had lost to Portugal.
I mean, Portugal, honestly, when I thought that I knew that we were going to. I thought that we would obviously eventually play Portugal when it came up because I thought we would be bad Macedonia and they would be Turkey. So I thought that we actually, before all this crisis, I thought we actually had a chance against Portugal. I knew they were a good team, but I know that a lot of Portuguese people said that their national team was getting worse. Maybe it's the coach problem. It's kind of the same problems as us, except Portugal actually still somehow still kept their level to the top and just still qualified. But I thought it would pretty much be a balanced game between two countries. But I thought it would actually win because we were the current Euro champions. So I thought that momentum would take us through the World Cup. But I mean, I'm not surprised if we lost against Portugal. I mean, losing against Portugal, it would not be as embarrassing. It would still be shameful that we did not qualify, but it would not be as embarrassing as losing against Macedonia. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because I still believe that even if you guys did beat North Macedonia, I don't think you guys would have beaten Portugal, in my opinion.
I mean, I think we'll need to play Portugal away though, so maybe that's probably another reason.
Yeah,
but I thought that we would still have some kind of a chance, but I guess.
Oh yeah, of course there'll be a chance, but I would still favor Portugal. That's what
I mean. That's fair enough, and I mean Ronaldo on his day, he can obviously make difference. Yeah. It's just.
You're actually kind of right. I want to speak about this briefly. Portugal, Italy are kind of like the same thing, but I think with Portugal is that I feel like when the pressure gets to them the most, when they know they have to perform, they always turn up. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also down to Cristiano Ronaldo. He's just, he can always make that difference. Or, I mean, they also got very good players, let's be honest. I think the coaching is probably their more problem because if you look at Portugal's team, a lot of their players play for top clubs. So it's not, I mean, you can say the same for Italy, but Italy, most of these players still play in Serie A clubs, really.
Yeah,
and obviously for every Inter, Milan, and Juve player, there will always be Verona, Sassuolo, and Torino players. So you can see the difference. While in Portugal, you can see a lot of the players go in top clubs, play regularly, and be more sharp.
Yeah. I voted yes based on the way they went out. Yeah, so I did a poll on so let me just show you the poll real quick. So 4 people voted. We had 5 votes. We had 4 people vote for yes. They are surprised that Italy did not make it, and 1 person says no.
I mean, I already see one guy say he took a Chiesa wonder goal against Spain and Bonucci's rebound versus England to get their last 2 goals in the Euro. I mean, against England, to be fair, we were dominating that game, so I think that we still, England, we still, we were just really unlucky not to win that game in the first 90 minutes, I think.
Oh, yeah, you guys should have won.
Spain, I can agree, though. Spain, I can agree. We really struggled against them. But England, I think it's not like we were worse than England. Like, they just scored one. I mean, you can say that their goals as well lucky because Di Lorenzo, I think, should have saw Luke Shaw there. He should have definitely marked him better there. Yeah. But, I mean, it goes both ways, really.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see. So Zaha's penalty stands out. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Berardi
did miss that open goal against Macedonia. I don't know if you know. He did miss that. But the thing with Berardi is that we all know that he's not going to start for Italy. So it's not even a question. Yeah. Locatelli should replace. I don't know about that, though. Locatelli has not exactly had the best year, in my opinion, with Juve. Like, maybe it's the adaptation problem. I don't know. Or maybe Allegri's just not using him the best. But he has not exactly had the best year. So
I remember he was really good in the Euros.
He was pretty good in the Euros, but that was before he moved to Juve. So
yeah. Donnarumma, great goalie, haven't been for 4 months. Yeah, no, we just mean like in general. Obviously, if you look at it currently, you can say he's bad, but we can overall still say that he's still a great keeper,
I mean, yeah, he still overall has an ability. I mean, yeah, he still does. I think that in Milan, technically at this moment, is still upgraded with Maignan because, I mean, he was just insane this season. But yeah, I think Donnarumma, he's still only 23, which he still has a lot of years to go. I think he can still do better. In my opinion, he should not have moved to PSG. I think he should have either renewed with Milan or just went to a Premier League club or a La Liga club. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, he just stayed him Milan, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that would have been probably the best. And then, like, maybe in a few years, let's say someone like Courtois leaves Real Madrid, maybe then he can go there. Or let's say like Man United need to replace De Gea, maybe then. But I think he went way too early, especially to PSG.
Yeah, I remember Florenzi was a midfielder.
I mean, that's partially why he's not the greatest defender. I mean, that's kind of why his long shooting was very good in the past. So
yeah, Immobile, big tap-in merchant.
I mean, he can't even do that with Italy. So it's not even he can't even do that with Italy. He can obviously do that with Lazio, but without his goals.
Yeah. Also, I meant to say Zaha.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah, okay. Of course, I spit facts.
Yeah. Wait, can you show the Argentina-Italy game? I'm just curious because
Okay. Let's.
I mean, that was a horror show as well, but I at this point, Macedonia game still hurts the most. You know, at Nations League, I never really cared.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. For me, if I was an Italian, I wouldn't be that worried about the Argentina one because let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's still. Let's be honest. I know that angry Argentina fans are probably gonna come at me for this, but let's be honest. It is still a glorified friendly. I mean, it's not like. I mean, they deserve to win. There's no taking credit away from that, but I do think that it was still like it's not the biggest embarrassment, really.
Oh, yeah, that's not
I mean, it was still bad to see, you know.
Oh yeah, but let me put it this way: there was a huge difference in class.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Argentina is. I mean, if we go on paper, it's not like Argentina is like 3 times better than Italy. I think that in the end, we should have still not lost 3-0 in this game, in my opinion. We should have if we lost this game. In my opinion, we should have if we lost, we should have tried to keep the score as low as possible. We just kind of once Argentina scored, we just kind of just imploded, and we just got so much worse. So many mistakes. Players were not communicating at all, and it was just we just got ripped apart, really.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I also picked since the quarterfinals of Euros, goal scoring yards start coming. Now, that's actually interesting because. Italy, those last 2 games of Euros, they did kind of they did struggle in terms of goal scoring. And so maybe their goal scoring issue really began after that Belgium game. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that against Belgium game, we should have won that game by way more than 2-1. Like we were leading 2-0. I thought it was pretty much going to be when we led at 2-0, I thought we were going to win 5-0 or at least because Belgium were just looking so out of place. But then once Belgium scored, the second half, it got so much tight. And let's be honest, Italy kind of had to time waste to go through. But that's the problem, though. We made things so much harder for us against Austria as well. If we scored the chances that we had, and that's funnily enough, I made the comparison of Inter this season, especially Inter were struggling to score goals a lot this season. And that's kind of what cost us in the end for the Scudetto. And Italy, that's what happened. I mean, if you do not score your chances, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's just
That's just how football works. You can't just say we had 90% possession, we had 30 shots. I mean, if you do not score, it does not matter.
It's your fault. Yeah. What's interesting you actually think about is that Italy, they were really good in the group stage of the Euros. They were really good in the group stage. You look at Turkey, Wales, and Switzerland. And
Turkey, everyone thought that would be the dark horse.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out, but. If you think about it, that group isn't that easy. It's not really an easy group on paper, would you say?
I mean, yeah, Wales just qualified, and Switzerland are still a decent team, in my opinion. And Turkey, I mean, I don't know what happened with them, but it wasn't that easy. But as I said, a lot of the top European nations, like Spain, for example, struggled in that group, let's be honest. And I know Sweden and whoever else they had there, I think Slovakia and I'm forgetting Poland. I think that you would still expect them to top their group, like you would expect us to top our group, but they struggled. England, while they did top their group, it's not like they were most convincing. So as I said, Italy were probably most convincing big team in their group stage. So that's why we had hope that maybe we can go all the way. Maybe.
Yeah, what's interesting that people aren't discussing about? There were a lot of upsets in the Euros. Italy got Spain got knocked out. Oh, I mean, England, France got knocked out in the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing also, Switzerland, you cannot exactly take them lightly. Yeah. I mean, they still scored 3 against France, and that's not something you should sleep on. Yeah, and they took Spain to penalties as well. So,
Yeah, Portugal got knocked out in the round of 16. And then obviously France, we already discussed. And then Germany as well. So there were a lot of big casualties that went out early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Germany were very close to getting knocked out because they were losing to Hungary until the last minute.
Yeah. So like I said, of course, like Euros, like you have to give credit to Italy, but we have to look into consideration that it wasn't exactly all top nations Italy had to play against.
Yeah. I mean, Austria, well, they're Austria are not a bad team, but they're still not that top of a nation. Belgium was one, and then Spain, in my opinion, still Spain is just not as strong, in my opinion, as like France or Germany or even England. Like I don't think they're that strong. They're still good. They're still a very good nation, but I just thought that we should have still maybe played better against them. But
Yeah. Yeah, and then we already read this. Chiesa won the goal
yeah,
in Spain. Yeah,
I mean, Bonish's rebound. Let's be honest, like we should have still scored more that game, in my opinion. But hey, that's. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm taking we won the Euros, so.
Yeah.
But that feels like a forgotten memory now. It's not like you can. If we celebrate now, we still say we're the current European champions. It does not exactly mean much anymore because we did not qualify for World Cup. So
Yeah, but
it kind
Quagliari
of.
would be the best. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but Quagliari would be the best striking option.
I don't know about that. Like.
Um,
Honestly, in my opinion, the best striker option maybe might be again, as I said, maybe we should try Pellegrini as that false nine. I mean, it's not like it's a crime to use a false nine. If your strikers are not good, that's probably the worst that you can do.
yeah, Matt, that was a trash penalty by him. It was like a Pogba run up.
Yeah, I mean,
And that found that Italy were very good in the midfield, but in attack they weren't the same. In that,
that's another thing though. Like our midfield, I don't have many complaints about our midfield. Our midfield creates chances. They're still able to like get locked together. They're still able to like really help us create chances, as I said already. So the midfield is not the problem. The attack was our main issue, like really, both in Euros as it later got on, and then in World Cup qualifiers, and then against Macedonia, obviously, and against in this Nations League.
yeah, Italy exploited England when England scored the first goal.
Yeah.
Immobile was pocketed. I only remember Belotti's missed penalty, and I think all the Italy's unscored shots came from behind England's defense.
Yeah, I mean, but we already discussed that Belotti is just not good for Italy, and I mean he's not even getting any offers from any team right now after his contract with Torino ended. So it's not like,
Yeah,
I don't know what's gonna go with him, but I honestly don't want him to be in the. I honestly don't want him to get called up anymore. Really,
yeah.
like
So
it's just not worth it.
yeah, so let me ask you this question. So we discussed about obviously the national team now. I think we
Yeah.
have to touch a little bit on the European performances
Yeah.
because the teams in Europe have kind of disappointed. I'm looking at
Yeah, I mean, I can say that I know this is gonna sound biased, but Inter is still, as much as you want to say, they still won against Liverpool at Anfield with 10 men. So
yeah,
I'm too used to like going out in group stages. So this defeat, especially with no Barella for both legs, I thought this was okay. You know what? We tried our best. The better team beat us in the end.
Oh,
I
I
had
don't.
hopes that okay, let's take this to the Scudetto. Let's go win this. Let's go. Obviously, that did not happen, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I mean, overall, you saw Juventus lose 3-0 against seventh place La Liga team called Villarreal. That was obviously embarrassing. Milan did go out questionably from the group stage, but still finishing fourth with 4 points. It's still not a good look at all.
I mean, to be fair, they had a pretty hard group, so I'm going to cut them a little
Yeah,
bit. Second.
Atalanta was one no one really talks about because I still think that they should have probably went through that group because Man United, who are like having the worst season in so long, and Villarreal, I mean, you should still expect. I still expected them to make it through that group, but they just didn't.
Yeah, another thing too. I don't mean this season, by the way. I just mean in general. Like the Italian teams in general, they haven't really been good in like.
I mean, at least now we can just say that Roma won the Conference League, but it's not like that makes much impact.
Yeah, Juventus. They. I mean, to be fair, they did lose to like the two best teams at their time, so I'm not gonna really criticize them that much. I'm looking at Inter. The Europa League final 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And I mean, this is their first time in UCL since like 2013, so you can't really even say much about them. But that's another thing. Like teams just got so much worse, especially in the European stage where you have to improve yourself. Like especially the problem for Italy is with these Premier League teams, Man Cities, Liverpool's, Chelsea's, like they're all getting so much better. You got to somehow find a way to compete with them. But if Serie A does not change their approach to likes of marketing and TV rights and any of that, and also development, if all the clubs don't do that, we're gonna fall behind because these teams are always gonna get better, and we're just not gonna be able to catch up to them.
Yeah. Big up, Chainsaw Man. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Do appreciate it.
Mm.
But yeah, anyways, we were. It's actually interesting. Because as I said, at one point, Serie A was one of the best leagues in the world, and now it's no longer the best. Now people are regarding it as a joke. People say it's like a retirement league.
Yeah.
So I want to know your thoughts on this whole thing because I do agree, because I do think the Serie A, the league itself, is affecting the national team as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the league itself obviously got worse. It looks like in some ways it is kind of picking itself up now. Maybe it has to, I don't know, maybe it's just illusion or not, but I mean the teams themselves really have to begin getting better. Like that's their responsibility. The owners need to invest in the teams, the players themselves have to step up, the coaches need to do their job. But if they do not do that, there's nothing. As I said before, the federation themselves have to change their approach to this. If the league is not going to get better, they're not going to be able to compete in Europe. And if they're not able to compete in Europe, those players, they're going to stagnate. And then when it comes to national team, the national team will just not perform. So all of this just adds up to one big issue.
Yeah, it's interesting because Premier League is just so strong right now. Like they're just so market, like they so much funding. And it's like at one point that the Premier League is just too strong. The other leagues, like even La Liga is still struggling to compete. Bundesliga as well and everything. But another thing I want to make kind of like what's the thing called devil's advocate is that you look at League One, for instance. League One isn't really that great in terms of European pedigree, but France still managed to win the last World Cup. You got Bundesliga. Germany won the last World Cup, even though Bayern's been pretty much dominant. So what do you have to say about those cases in particular?
I mean, those cases, again, I mean, for France, I mean, you can see just how many great young players that they have every year coming up. Like, yeah, the league itself is not great, let's be honest, but the approach and the way their teams just operate and develop these stars, in eventual stars, and they continue developing them, they're eventually going to be set for the future to get more and more players, which will help them eventually win trophies. And Germany had a 10-year plan after their 2006 World Cup. They had a 10-year plan that, okay, in 10 years, we have to win either Euros or World Cup or whatever. And in 2014, they won the World Cup. So like Germany just went with that system and they eventually got their goal. Italy has to do something like that if they want to achieve things. Because as I said, we should have built upon that Euros win. We should have just try to get even better, try to improve, can go to the World Cup, compete for it. Who knows? Maybe an outside way. Croatia made the last World Cup final. Who knows? Maybe you could have went on a run or something. But we should have just done that. But we did not do that. We just stayed with whatever we had. We did not raise our ceiling. We were just content with being what we are right now, and that just made us even worse. And that's my biggest issue with the federation and everything. Like, we do not want to improve basically at this point. We're just sticking with the same thing, the same kind of players that are just clearly not good enough. The league itself is not going to improve unless there's some serious changes in the approach and the management. And all of that adding up together, this is the final product you're going to get. This is the final product. And you can blame no one but yourself for it.
Yeah. Because, you actually make a good point because I'm looking at the last couple of World Cup finalists. Their league isn't really that great. Like, Argentine league is not really that great. Like, let's be real, it's not that amazing. Obviously, we know the Croatian league's not that great, but they still made the World Cup finals. So you can't obviously a league has a varying, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a bad league, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So because you make a really good point. There's not enough young talents in Serie A. When you look at the young talents in Serie A, many of them aren't even Italian.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, for example, Inter right now signed Aslani from Empoli. He's Albanian, and he's not going to help Italy. He's just going to be in Albania. He's going to play for Albania. He's a youngster, but he's not going to play for Italy. Milan, very young players. I'm not sure too much about them. Like, I know they kind of have a bit more young Italian players, but I don't know if they're exactly that good enough to really look at in the future. I mean, that's probably you should ask Milan fans. And Juve, I mean, Juve, this is the thing. Juve kind of doesn't really develop talents, let's be honest. Like
Yeah,
they mostly loan out their young players. And I
yeah,
mean, they're not exactly gonna like nurture them themselves. So if the clubs themselves have to change their approaches for that, but everyone does the things their own way. Like not everyone has to be Ajax and Dortmund and develop their own players. Like some just buy them and just do good. But with a lack of good good young players for Italy, they're not gonna do better in the next few years because as I said, France will always have more and more good young talents and they will always get better. Spain is probably gonna do the same. England and Germany, they will always do the same. And then you have likes of Netherlands and Portugal, these countries also doing that. So we kind of just have to do that as well. And then maybe we get better.
Another thing that we're not discussing about is that look at the players in Italy. Many of them play in the Serie A.
Yeah.
Many of them don't really play outside the Serie A. Do you think that's a problem?
I mean, we can also say that about the English players. I mean, most of them still play in the Premier League, and yet they're still able to like think. I don't think that's exactly the main problem. I can see some problems to it, maybe, but like I still think that that's not exactly the biggest issue. I mean, a lot of the countries you don't exactly have to go abroad because Serie A still is part of the top five leagues, and it will probably always be, hopefully. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's exactly the biggest problem because a lot of nations, I mean, they still have a lot of their key players playing their own domestic leagues, and they still do find ways to do well. So I don't think that's exactly the biggest issue, really.
Yeah, I think in an ideal scenario, at least I think the ideal scenario is that you want to have a mixture of both. You want to have like some foreign
Yeah.
players, some local players.
I mean, you don't want to have too many go out in because then the league will just get worse in quality wise, but you also don't want to keep a lot because then they're not going to exactly improve that much if the league itself is not doing good. So you kind of want to have 50-50 for both.
Yeah, that's why I said that's the ideal thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
Obviously not everyone.
Obviously, that's kind of hard. Not, I don't think any country really does that, but yeah, I mean, you got to keep it like that.
I mean, but the point that as I said, money. I think that's been a huge issue financially, and then
I
obviously,
mean, yeah, financially, Italy itself is just not in the strongest position, so it's not even worth noting that. I mean, but the thing is, Serie A's downfall is not the reason for Italy losing against North Macedonia. Obviously not the only one. Still, we should have beaten them. That's completely on the players not doing what they had to do. They did not get the job done, and they conceded the last minute goal because they were just punished for not scoring their own chances. So that's on the players. I agree with that.
yeah. And this is actually an interesting point Chainsaw bringed up. Do you think that style of football is an issue with Italy?
Yes, actually, I think it is because though obviously Italy was mostly always in the past a bit more like the compact defensive team, which just did not allow you to make many chances. And then when obviously when we had a Catenaccio, that's when we obviously hit the teams on the counters and then tried scoring. The style of football, obviously, it's not the biggest issue. It's not the number one issue, but I do think that now we kind of have to become. It's not that this style. I always say that if 4-3-3, if you're winning and you're using 4-3-3, then stay with the 4-3-3 and stay whatever style you are. But if you're not winning and if you're losing, you gotta like adapt to whoever team you're playing. You gotta adapt to their tactic. You gotta change it and try to get a result. So I think that we need to have a bit more flexibility in what we want to do, especially when we play games. And we need to have different ideas and to make sure that when we are in the scenarios when we are actually not playing well, we can make some changes. Maybe the formation, maybe make some substitutions, or maybe just the style itself. Like we should be ready for that, but we're never. We just stay with one thing, one idea, and eventually teams will find a way to deal with you, and you're going to be in trouble if you don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, because that's actually another good point. Because the old Catenaccio way, when you have a rigid defense, you need to be clinical in your attack, and you have the players like Baggio and those kind of players that were.
I mean, at that time we had a lot of great strikers, so at that time it made sense why we were playing that way.
Yeah, and you had such a good defense. You had obviously Maldini, Nesta. These kind of players, Cannavaro, and then Buffon as well. These kind of things.
And I mean, the midfield also was great. With Pirlo and Mignon. Like it's not. That time it made sense, but what we're playing right now, clearly we have to either change the system or we have to use the players that work with the current system. Like it has to be one of those.
Yeah. Because I still think that because it's kind of interesting because in the when Mancini came in, I feel like you guys tried to adapt to a more attack style based
Yeah, definitely.
and you got rid of the old system.
Yeah.
But even though that system did work, it didn't really work the long term because it only really worked until the Euros. And then
Yeah.
obviously even in the Euros itself for the final two matches, you guys never really you
Yeah.
had
I'm not saying we have to like go back to our old system because I mean the football has moved on. That kind of system, you're probably most likely not gonna find much success now. You gotta kind of find a system that obviously no system is ever perfect. There will always be some kind of a way to deal with one. But you gotta find a system where you can get most out of your players. And I guess because the players themselves don't play the national team a lot throughout their seasons, it's gonna be tougher for them to adapt to it. But you gotta, especially in these Nations League games, where I mean Italy's now on 5 points in 4 games. So like there's 2 more games left. I think that maybe we should try the system. Worst of all, if we somehow go down to League B, God forbid, but if we try that and if we can like get some results against England, against Hungary, maybe stick with that system, or I don't know, just experiment a bit because whatever we're doing currently, it's clearly not working. So what's the worst that can happen? If the new system does not work, well, at least it will probably not be worse than whatever we have right now. So may as well just give it a try.
Yeah. Like I said, that's another key thing is that the other countries have adapted. As you said, Germany have adapted, France as well, even after their failures and the previous World Cups editions, they managed to make changes. And that's the definition of insanity, as you mentioned earlier, that when something doesn't work, you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. And that's the problem I have with Mancini is that he didn't try out different players when he came down.
I mean, if we tried out different players and we still did not get a result, at least we'll know that, okay, this also does not work. We got to try again. Because if you just stay with one thing, you're never going to get anywhere. So, and if it's not working, if it's working, sure, but eventually you know that teams are going to get onto you and they will know how to deal with you. So we got to find a way to surprise them and deal with them. But I mean, maybe that has to do with coaching itself again. Mancini, I think, there are debates over should Mancini go, should he get sacked, especially after the Germany game. I personally think that right now, if we sack him, who are we going to bring in? We're not exactly going to bring in. I mean, if Carlo Ancelotti, for example, was a free agent, then sure, hell yeah, do that. But he's not. So who are you exactly going to bring in? Like, you may as well just stick with him. You may just well just stick with Mancini because you're not exactly going to get any kind of a proper replacement for him. So we kind of have to stick with him and put faith in him and hope that he does change his approach. But if he does not, then if in a year we're still not getting any better, and if by the 2024 Euros we're not any better, then there has to be questions asked. Then there has to be a lot of questions asked.
Yeah. Like my thing is that like I said, who are you going to get in the market now? Like obviously Conte was there, but obviously he already coached, and Conte doesn't really stick around for a long time. He's a short.
I mean Conte for Italy, I think he only stuck around for that Euros really because we kind of were desperate at that point. But yeah, I mean it's not like it's going to work. He's just not going to stick around for a while. I know that he left Inter after 2 seasons, which, to be honest, 2 seasons at one club, it's still not a long time for a manager to be at. I mean, he won a lot of things. He had success here, but still, we knew that he was not going to stick around forever. And obviously, not every national team coach really sticks around forever, but the ones that do stick around for some time, really, and if they're achieving success, and I know Mancini he won the Euros, so in the end, you cannot say that he has failed the job because he still won the Euros, and nobody really expected Italy, to be honest, to win it until maybe when it got to like semifinals. Maybe then I saw people hear that, okay, Italy's probably now going to win the Euros. But before that, I did not exactly. Myself was never saying that Italy was going to win the Euros. Again, I thought we were going to go out and against like France again in quarterfinals. But yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, actually, let me ask you this question. Do you think that fact that Italy won the Euros made you guys too complacent and arrogant in some ways?
Yes, definitely. I'm not saying now take away the Euros because, I mean, I don't want to do. Obviously, we still like winning the Euros, but we should have stayed focused and we won the Euros. Now let's move on to the next step and compete in the World Cup because you win the Euros, take this momentum. these players, a lot of them, we should have also noticed that a lot of these players were off form though. We should have definitely noticed, and we should have maybe like have them sit out and have introduce some new players or some other players and see if it works. Because if we just stick with one team, the other players will just not get informed. They're not going to get in sync with the players that you have. So it's just not going to work. And we refused to do that, and that's what cost us in the end.
Yeah, it's very true indeed. Anyways, we've been here around for 55 minutes. So, do you have any final thoughts? Because like I said, I think we've
I
discussed.
mean, all I will say really is that I think that Italy, I hope that we get better, but until we stop being stubborn about our ways of doing things, clearly our ways, our methods are not working right now. We got to go with some new methods. And if those don't work, just try until you finally get it. Eventually, there will be some kind of a way. And if we do not do that, but the problem is if we keep refusing to do that, especially with Serie A and the national team, if we do not change our approach, we're not going to get anywhere. So we got to just change that. And a lot of these players that we have, I personally, the national team that we have right now and the players, I personally would cut half of them out because the half that I'm cutting right now, they did not work out for us. So it's not like that we're worth bringing up. Try bringing up some new players that will be motivated to play for the national team and actually try. And the Serie A itself has to definitely get better, and the players themselves need to perform. So that's all I will say, really.
Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, man, I really hope you guys do well. Maybe the next Euro 2024, we can see some change. And as I said, you cannot miss the next one, man. With expansion,
if we miss the next World Cup, then we may as well just forget about whatever we just did because I mean, this is shameful. Italy won 4 World Cups in their history. We usually were one of the best teams in the World Cup. Like we were, alongside Germany, we're only behind Brazil in that, and us not making 2 consecutive World Cups, especially one of them as reigning European champions, is just unacceptable. It's a national shame. So the fact that we did that is just not.
Yeah, if you guys don't, as you said, and like I said, the next World Cup is going to be expansions. There's going to be, I think, 16 European teams.
So if we do not make that, then I mean, what is even? But I think I don't want to say anything now, but I hope that we will make it, and it's going to depend on how we're doing next Euros. I'm not saying I don't think we're exactly going to win the next Euros, but maybe until then, some teams get worse and we somehow get better. That 2024, there's still 2 years. A lot can change in 2 years, and who knows?
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So yeah, like I said, man, I hope Italy. I hope for your sake that Italy do well because, like I said, man, it's a criminal because I've heard people say that without Italy, the World Cup is not the same, and I do agree. Yeah. I personally haven't seen a World Cup, but it's been a while since we've seen Italy in a World Cup, and Italy's not in there. Just so
we
weird.
were always one of the regulars there. We haven't. And the fact that now we have not made 2 consecutive World Cups, it's unacceptable, really. You cannot justify it in any way. It does not matter what kind of players you have, good, bad, if you have a good coach or not. If you're an Italian player, an Italian coach, and you did not make the second World Cup, especially the second consecutive one, then you cannot even look at any Italian people, any citizens in their eyes after that. Like you just gotta. And until next time, you just got to really fix up. And next time, do not allow this to happen, or else there will be a lot of consequences because because the federation, the country itself is investing a lot in the league and in the national team. But again, the approach is not how it should be going. And maybe the more investment is needed in Serie A, but the national team itself, the players themselves have to play well. They have to do their job. That's kind of their job. And if they don't do it, then they're not good enough. You just got to bench them or just cut them out completely because that's the only way, really.
Yeah, so I think we discussed there's a lot of issues. Obviously, money is an issue. Serie A itself is an issue. The players, the coaching, everything. I think everything, like you said, there's not it's not just one thing that just caused everything.
But we cannot try solving things at the same time, all of them. We got to go one by one. If we just try solving everything together, then that can get messy. So yeah, that's all I would say is my final word.
Yeah. And maybe even the fans are somewhat to blame as well, because, obviously their expectations and maybe their.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, if you're an Italian fan, you expect us to at least qualify for World Cup. Like that should, we should be qualifying for World Cup whenever it happens. Like that should just be a normal thing for us. But so it is pretty. It is pretty. I mean, now to be honest, including me, now we're just kind of when the next international break comes. I mean, I'll probably be ready. I'll probably be expecting maybe more disappointment. So I'll probably will not even mention it much. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Like you said, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So hopefully, as I said, Italy do well in the coming editions because, like I said, man, it's not the same without Italy, man. It's really not the same, and and it's everything like that. And one last thing before we head off.
Yeah.
UEFA has you guys are playing the most forgiving confederation ever. Like UEFA is like most forgiving. You have like 13 spots. Like let's say like for instance you were in South America, and I could kind of understand. But you're playing in UEFA. There's so many chances for you to qualify, and you still don't qualify. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we should, but yeah, I mean that's just how it is.
Yeah. So like I said, man, it's crazy, man. Like I said, man, Italy, man, crazy to see. And like I said, as you said, I think the Euros definitely I think the Euros is kind of a false I think the Euros is kind of a blessing in disguise. I mean, not blessing,
Yeah,
like
it
a curse in
definitely
disguise.
was. It definitely was. But that does not mean that we should have just stopped just at the Euros. That should not have been just our ceiling. We should have went for more. We should have been more ambitious, but we did not. And that, in the end, it's our fault. It is our fault in the end.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's not obviously Europe is not that much, but Egypt they did the three-peat in AFCON. Yeah, they didn't, and none of those Egypt teams made the World Cup. USA won the Gold Cup 2017. They didn't make it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't you guys also like? I remember a lot of Americans just being so enraged when that happened, and I could not even believe just how Italy. I mean, Italy was just in complete meltdown when that happened, and the fact that it just happened again now. I think now you cannot exactly see it in TV. Like, I mean, at that time, Italy was just going in the frenzy. Like, it was just crazy, everything. But now, because of the pandemic and everything, maybe people just did not react in that kind of a way. But yeah, it was really embarrassing from us not qualifying for two World
I
Cups.
mean, at least you guys, like, if there's any consolation, at least you guys weren't the only big nation. Sweden missed out this one, Nigeria missed out.
Yeah, but the thing is, Italy, while Sweden and Algeria, obviously, and many of those big nations missed out, still Italy, you probably expect them to make every World Cup.
It's probably the worst. It's probably the most shocking.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. As I said, man. Let's see what you guys can do, and
maybe we can next time talk. Hopefully, hopefully better things are better for Italy, and if they are, maybe next time we can again talk again about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a good chat, and obviously, you're an Inter fan, so maybe we can play Inter in the Champions League as a Barca fan.
Yeah. I also wish you guys good luck in La Liga, obviously. So
yeah. Good luck in Serie A as well, because I hope you guys win the league to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Just don't want Juve to win it.
Yeah, I mean, none of us do. None of us do really. I mean, now I also don't want Milan to win it, obviously, but I still rather losing the title to Milan than to Juve, even though I dislike both. But
yeah. I mean, but it is what it is. So yeah, let's hope we can continue conversations more in the future. And obviously, if Italy plays in the future, maybe the upcoming Euros.
Maybe we can actually do the predictions video, maybe for it, like before the Serie A season begins.
Oh yeah, Serie A, that'd be cool. That we can link up for that one. That'd be a great.
All right, yeah. Have a good day. Thank you for having, and yeah.
Take care, man. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
So let me look through some comments real quick, and then we'll head out of here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Where did I last leave off? Okay, I think I read this. So mismanagement money ended Italian football dominance.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I already addressed this earlier. Poi says, hi. I remember the Italian FA wanted Serie A cancels. They can have preparations when they finish second in World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's not exactly remembered that much anymore because that was just such a stupid idea. And it obviously never happened because if Serie A got canceled, then, I mean, how are you supposed to even get your players playing? That was just so stupid.
Yeah, that was a very stupid idea. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, that was never going to happen, let's be honest.
Yeah. I always leave a bit of a room for surprise results. I also thought North Macedonia might play defensive.
I mean, I also thought that they were going to park the bus and just take one of their chances. I knew we were going to dominate that game. But again, if you do not score your chances, and then it's not going to help you.
Oh, I just realized something. Joachim Low actually helped North Macedonia get the playoffs because he was in charge for that game. When North
Yeah.
Macedonia won away at Germany.
Yeah,
So
but the thing is, we cannot blame them now. I mean, how are we supposed to know that we should have qualified from our group as first place? Let's be honest. So we should have never even gotten into that position first of all. So
yeah. I know. I'm just saying is that that's also something to just think about there. But yeah, Syria downfall is a big reason for Italy's failure. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
It's a big reason, but it's not the only reason.
Yeah, it's not the only reason, but it's still a big reason.
Yeah.
When I was little, the Italian league was very good. Yeah, we
all know that Italian league definitely used to be very good, but the thing is, it's now.
Yeah.
But Serie A's downfall for another reason. Exactly, we should have beaten North Macedonia, even if Serie A got much worse. We should have won that game anyway. That's just on players.
Should Syria change to 18 teams?
I actually see a lot of, especially my server, I see a lot of debate about this. Should they change it back to not? I'm actually neutral about this. I can see the benefits of it because when when Serie A was like the best, it had 18 teams, but obviously football then changed. So I don't know, maybe yeah, but then again, you kind of maybe, but I don't know about that. I don't know if that's going to exactly have much impact to the national team, really, because quality. I don't know if it's really going to get better. Maybe you remove two really bad teams, and maybe that way it's going to get better. But then what if the two that you leave or one leave just gets even worse? And if you do not give more teams chances to promote, that's, it can go both ways, really.
Yeah, and also if you do that, don't you have to change the European qualification as well?
Yeah, I mean, then you have to make it again. Top three make it through probably to Champions League. Maybe fourth team just goes to qualifying. Like, I don't know. We're so used to 20 teams now. I don't think it's really smart to really change it. I think we should just stick with the way it is.
We're Italy to win the Euros. For me, Spain was the best team in that tournament.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know really about that. I mean, Spain, let's be honest, at first Euros, they started pretty poorly. And then just somehow they just marched on to the semifinals. I don't know really who was the best team, I think. I think that Spain or Italy probably. I said that a winner between Spain and Italy would win Euros, and that's how it happened. So I think one of them really, but I don't know if they were the best team. I don't know if Italy was really the best team either. I think there was kind of no best team in Euros this year. It was kind of just whoever got to the final, whoever won, they probably deserve it, and that's kind of.
And that's was another interesting thing is that the best teams in the tournaments don't always win it. You look at for instance 2010. Like I don't think Spain were the best team in that World Cup.
I mean, we knew that's. I mean, the thing is, Spain were obviously one of the best, but it's not like they were exactly convincing all the time, performance-wise. But yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just about getting the job done. That's all that matters. We get in football because, like I said, that's the thing about.
I mean, isn't the thing that they said about Champions League now that Real Madrid won it? Obviously, a lot are saying that they were not the best team, but you don't have to be the best team to win some kind of a big competition. You just have to perform in those kind of games when it matters, the best with your best possible abilities. And if you get them, and if you win in the end, whoever wins is the true winner, and you cannot change it.
Yeah. Spain were not good in the first two matches. And the third match, Dubravka gave to Spain the goal, and so the game opened up.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, like no team really was the best in Euros. Like you just kind of had to. Should Ancelotti manage? Ooh, I mean, I would absolutely take him, but he's probably not going to leave Real Madrid now. So
yeah. I mean, he just won the Champions League.
He also won La Liga, so it's not like he's going to leave. I mean, if he was free, but we can't really just. Take him away from the team. Like it's not gonna happen.
Has he coached the national team before?
Yes, but very long time ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it'd be kind of like a nice return, I suppose.
Yeah.
Apparently, only one Italian has a Premier League winners medal.
Really? Who is it? Let me think. Actually,
that's actually a good. Actually, that's a good thing.
It's actually a very, very. Good.
Oh, is it
Balotelli? I think it's Balotelli.
Yeah, I think it must be. It must be him because I don't really know anyone else.
I don't really know any other one really. I think it's Balotelli.
Yeah.
Because he made the assist to Aguero, for that moment. So.
Balotelli, man. Oh man, I remember he has his jersey says "Why always me."
Yeah, I think it's Balotelli. I don't know who else.
Yeah. Anyways, 20 years since they have been in knockout stage. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it's pretty bad, but.
Even the World Cups, you guys didn't make it. You guys didn't do well.
Yeah, I mean, even the ones that we did, because like last time we were in the knockouts, we won it. So
Yeah. If Italy can't qualify for 2026, every player should dump football and go for hockey or swimming or something.
I mean, probably yeah. But I mean, if they do not qualify for 2006, I would be surprised if they even have working legs anymore because I'm pretty sure then the whole Italian crowd is just gonna go after them, like no matter what. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's just gonna be really
Akuba
bad.
with the X. Okay. Emoji.
Oh, I think this is the eyebrow thing.
Oh, eyebrow. Okay. Question mark. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
100% HQR. Italy have no good attackers. Chiesa's okay. Insigne ending career early, and I don't know who else is good. Berardi, Zanilo.
I would not say we have no really good attackers. I just think that the system itself is not getting the best out of them. Like it should be. Obviously, we have no good striker. I can agree.
Yeah, Chiesa's not okay, guys. Chiesa's good.
Chiesa's good. I mean, we have to see how he does after his injury, but he's still. And I mean, Zaniolo is. I don't know if he's really a question mark, and it's not like he's exactly an outright attacker. Like he's still more of an attacking midfielder. So
yeah, Insigne. Actually, I want to know your thoughts on Insigne. I don't think we've spoken about him.
Oh, Insigne, I'll be honest, I don't think he should be called up anymore. I mean, I get that, especially now that he's in MLS. Like, I don't think he's gonna be fit enough really to, and no disrespect to MLS, by the way, but I don't think he's gonna be really able to. He's not exactly, in my opinion, he's not gonna be as challenged. And to be honest, he did not exactly have a great season of Napoli anyway. Most of his goals were from the spot kick, so yeah, I personally think that he's kind of done now.
Yeah, and even like this is just my observation. I always notice Insigne, he always goes for the bangers. He only just scores bangers.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like in his younger years, he was pretty good. Like he was like Napoli's main man. So
yeah. I don't mean young days. I mean like currently, right now. He's just like a guy that only scores.
Yeah, he now either scores bangers or penalties.
Yeah, bangers or penalties, and that's not really exactly reliable in every game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he can still create. I mean, he could still create for others, but like again, he's just not the same. And I think with Italy, again, he's not exactly a great performer either. So
yeah, Berardi's like Immobile. Zanilo only is good at the big games.
I mean, if you're only good in the big games, there's nothing exactly wrong with that. I don't know if that's exactly true or not. I have to. But Berardi's like Immobile, kind of. But you cannot exactly compare a striker to a winger in that case. Like a winger has to do a bit more. I mean, in more like in terms of creating. A striker's main job really is to score goals, and neither of them are doing that for Italy. But again, I say that probably both also get benched for Italy. But Mancini in the end, Mancini is the one that decides who plays. So it's not. I don't decide. Nobody decided except from him.
Yeah, Italy were only good in the group stage. Year's group stage against Switzerland, they were brilliant. They could have lost against Austria in round of 16. You know, actually, that is true. You guys could have very well lost that game because I remember Austria had a disallowed goal, I think.
Yeah, but again, that's what happens when you don't take your chances.
Yeah,
you make the game harder for you.
Yeah, Arnautovic did score against Italy in the second half, but it was offside. Yeah, I remember. Italy have so many good Italy have so many spots as that many good European teams miss out. Hungary are great.
Have so many spots that many. Oh yeah.
I think you mean Europe, right?
I'm not exactly like, I don't know what they mean. Like European teams, like Hungary are great. Like I think I think they mean the group itself. Like Hungary, Germany, and England. I think that's what they mean. I think that they mean we have a lot of good players. I think I mean we have a lot of good teams in our group. I think that's what they mean. That's my guess.
Okay. Yeah. All right. To be honest, though, why complain? We want a possibility of Ronaldo versus Messi in a World Cup.
I mean, for neutrals, probably. I mean, if that happens in a World Cup final, I can already see just how the footballing world will be after the match ends. It's just gonna be so insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of all I have to say, really.
Yeah. Just like there's so many comments. I'm just trying to get through all this stuff. Yeah, I know it's been going on.
About that, actually, Italy produces defenders. We actually did not talk about this, but I'll just say that their only good young defender right now, in my opinion, is Bastoni. Like he's their only good young defender right now that's consistent.
Actually, we didn't talk about this at all. We should. That's actually a good point, HKR, you brought up. Italy's defense has also really declined as well. Chiellini, Bonucci, they're really old.
I mean, Chiellini is now off to MLS. Bonucci is just old, really old. So we need some new fresh legs there. And if Bastoni is your only good young center back right now, that should be a big worry for you because Mancini, again, he's just kind of good, kind of bad. and others are just really bad.
Yeah,
that's right now we've got good midfield. Like if we go by, I know this is gonna be funny, but if we go by like cards, like the goalkeeper position is kind of like a BMW right now. Still good most part, but then kind of can get shaky. Defense is kind of like I don't know, really Porsche. Midfield is a Bugatti, and the attack is probably Kia. Like that's how it is. The midfield is really good. The defense got worse. The attack is really bad, and the goalkeeper on his day he can be good, but on his other day he can be really bad. So yeah, that's really it, bro.
That's when does it get 22 to be fun? We need more new teams. When does it smash bar? Oh my goodness. Okay. Schalke are back. In 2016, France was best team. Okay. Any other Italy comments in particular? Because there's like a lot, so I want to get to the just.
I think Spain lost their first match 2010 World Cup. Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, they did. Okay.
At the end of the day, ended up winning. So.
Yeah, so I think that's okay. I think that's gonna be it. So as I said, man, like I said, we've been here for a while. So Italy, as I said, you guys gonna need to get some more new attackers. You guys gonna need to get some more young defenders as well.
Yeah. But overall, everything has to, the structure itself has to change, and a lot of things have to change. But again, maybe in the future it's going to change, and maybe we're going to be really good again. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today.
Yeah. So thank you for having me, and maybe next time in the future we can talk again. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to have you for my Serie A preview, so we could definitely convene for that time. But anyways, I think that's gonna be it for today. So as I said, you guys. So before we head off, do you guys have any final thoughts, real quick, before we head off? Let me do the poll. Let me see the poll real quick. How many people participate in that? And yeah, it's been a good stream here. And yeah, so let's see. Like I said, man, Italy, man, I want to see them do well, man. I want to see them do well in the World Cup. And my first World Cup was actually 2018 because you guys know I got into football late, so I haven't even seen Italy in a World Cup in person.
Wow, damn.
Oh,
hopefully we see them next time in 2026.
Yeah. But let's just actually look at this real quick. So if Italy did make the World Cup, let's just say hypothetically, you guys would have been in Group H, I believe, which would have been with Uruguay, Ghana, and South Korea.
Oh, yeah, if we made it, right?
Yeah.
So, if we made it, and assuming all of our players were sharp and were fit and everything like that, I think we would have probably been favorites in that group.
Yeah, I think you guys would top the group.
Yeah, but again, if we go by ifs, then a lot of things could have been changed. But this is the reality. We gotta face it, and we gotta accept it.
Yeah. So we got 11 likes. So we reached the target, and let me just see how many people participate in the poll. Actually, we got 12 likes. So 16 people did the poll. 69% says yes, and 31% says no. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that most of us agree that Italy missing the World Cup is pretty surprising. So yeah, as I said, it's gonna be it for today. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts in the comment section below. Issues with Italy, and like I said, man, thank you, Doodle, for coming on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, like this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're not here. Make sure you guys check out my plus description below from other platforms, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace out.